Chat will have its revenge. You know what? I don't doubt it, man. I don't doubt it. Chat will remember this. I'm sure chat will. I'm sure chat will. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing it again just to fuck with you guys because I wanted all just to not be ready for that. In case you guys don't know, that's the anime I was talking about last time when I was mentioning it. And like no one knew what it was, and it's called High School DxD. I finally remembered it. Yeah. Because a majority of you guys, yeah. Like I was talking about a high school anime where like it's all harem and like etchy or eki or however you want to pronounce it. I was like, all right, perfect. Anyway.
この世の天国ダメ絶対ダメだと固いこと言うなよお前俺たち明日死ぬかもしれないんだぞハルトお前そればっかじゃねえか分かってるアンジュは見ないいや絶対見れるわってそういう問題じゃなくて俺は行かねえぞ
So let me put this in terms of realism and how else do I put it? Like just in terms of, first off, I hope that you guys don't take what you see in anime as reality. Throwing it right off the bat. If you guys see some creepy shit like this, and like we're friends, I'm just gonna look at you and be like, dude, what are you doing? what are you talking about? Like, dude, come on, come on, bro. Yeah, come on. But if you're judging off of a sense of like, hey, you know, you never know where you might die, so on and so forth, like, you know, and still like. Protocol, I'd still criticize the shit out of you, you know. Oh, Dark Thug, please don't even get me started. Okay. Before I get all of the, like, let me, like all of these like diehard. Oh, there you go. All of the diehard individuals typing in my comments, anime is real. Please stop. Please remember there's a difference between reality and what is being shown, fiction, you know? There's a big emphasis on that, you know? Craith, I'm 100% sure that you can find someone out there, a partner out there that has all the qualities that you're looking for that is not in a fictional character. Other than the fact that they can't fly or maybe even do magic or some silly thing. Am I real? For some reason, I gotta be honest with you, Shu. I thought at the end when you put schizo, for some this shows you where my mind is. I thought it said chorizo. Anime is real. My wife who lives with me. No, I'm not a chorizo. And I was like, what do you have to do with it, dude? What does one have to do with the other? But it's schizo. Yeah, no. Your anime is absolutely, yeah. In that case, is right. We were living in the anime. How can you explain the art through? Okay. How else do I explain this, guys? If you can directly buy a body pillow and a figurine of any anime or celebrity, unless you can like transport. Okay, these are some of the dark thoughts that I've been having. You know. Let me touch base here. So as individuals, we might be individuals that are, you know, how could we put it? I guess in this situation, time consistent, space expanding, right? I.e., we see through our inference of what time is, right? In general regards. But if we were individuals where space is consistent and time is expanding, we would be able to see like both, like think the past, present, and future at the same time in that regard. So then that would lead to like, you know, you can talk about multi-layered theories, multi-layered universes. You know, does a universe where say medieval times through, I don't know, an isekai world exist at the same time while this other parallel universe exists at the, you know, the exact same, I guess, spending time or whatever. Kind of like the bubble universe, for example, you know? But anyway, the reason why I was bringing that up is because I don't know why this anime gives me a feel, like a really, really strong feel, just in general about like how dark it can get, or how sad it can get, or like what sacrifices we might see from some of these individuals in order for their own betterment, you know? Bro, 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 no one. Fuck is where is it at? Bro, no one fucking losing it, dude. No one. Like, okay, this is why I'm telling you, touch grass, guys, if you ever can. Like, no one in the right world is like, goes out and it's like, like, you'll enjoy the river, you'll play around, you'll play maybe even one house, but it's not like you're gonna go like throwing a bunch of water everywhere and like pretending that you're cool with it. And yet, oh no, I just got myself wet. I'm a fucking idiot. But no, guys, like, oh no, I got myself really wet. Yeah. But the point being is like no one like if you see some weird anime shit like that happening, especially no, I'm legitimately fucking soaked from the bottom down. Um, if you see some legitimate like individuals doing some weird shit like this and like laughing maniacally like that, I that's a red flag. That's a red fucking flag. I'm sorry, but if I heard a group of girls laughing like that and like splashing water on themselves like that, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, like here's my heart on. I'm so attracted to you girls. You know what I'm gonna do is like the fucking creepy, weird individuals there. You just did it yourself, totally realistic. Dollar store. Yeah, no, 100% realistic. I don't care if it's a red flag yet. Yeah, even if they end up killing you or something, would you be okay with that? I don't know, dude. Bro, okay, this is I hate to bring it up like this, but in times of thinking about realism and aspect like this, like I had this conversation in Musho Tensei, but how many of y'all would actually have relations with beast people without a second thought? I'm pretty sure a majority of you guys would. Me. How many of you guys have thought about the STDs and like weird diseases you might get off of that? Yeah, exactly. Now, let's switch it around to just normal humans, yeah? Exactly. If there's already a lot of weird shit that happens to us humans in general, imagine what can be added in with like, just other diseases that might come from other races, like especially beast people, or demons or any weird thing like that. I'd have to think about it. Okay, now what about, and this might sound really, and I apologize in advance, but this is probably a good example of like, I am apologizing in advance, and I am saying this, but this is a good way of like referencing an example. What about like, say, North Korean soldiers, girl soldiers? How many of you guys would be down? Okay, even if that presented itself with an opportunity of a weird power dynamic, where you don't know if, say, that like they're a double agent, triple agent, or they might, I don't know how to put it, have parasitic, since a lot of individuals aren't eating healthy, there seems to be a lot of parasites and stuff coming off of that regard. AZ, don't say that's even better. So on and so forth. Like, oh, Kraith, no. Oh, gosh. No. Like, think about it like this. It's like you're literally going, especially with an individual that's like in a war-torn environment, a war-torn area, that you don't know if they're going to double cross you, if you don't know how their eating regimen's been in terms of like nutrition, or if they have any of the like, say, like mandated vaccines, or if they have parasites, so on and so forth. Why? Because every like country is different in terms of standards of care, standards of health. Please, okay, first off, Shu, if you ever say that in real life, if you catch yourself saying this to like a girl, or to anyone in general, like you'll never hear a good psychologist be like, I can fix you. Hell no, dude. We have a lot of fucking work to do on ourselves before we can touch anyone else. Like, what are you talking about? So like, if you get into a relationship or you're trying to get into a relationship and you start using the terms like, oh, I can fix them, what will you fix and to what degree? Because at this point, you're going to influence your own bias off of what you think is normal, off of your regulations and your standards. And guess what? This individual is not an individual that was supposed to be made to their own thinking pattern, but an individual that you have created for your own self-serving needs, which is not fucking cool, which could be very manipulative and very, very toxic. That is some like take away their individuality type shit, you know? Like, oh no.
その別に私真のことなんとも思ってないけど、そういうのって良くないと思う。ほら、大和なでしこのたしなみとかって、だからクレナかわいい。
And there's Grace. Oh wait, I didn't think it'd be an actual person. I'm sorry, Grace, that was a joke. I didn't think there'd be an actual person there. I thought it was gonna be an animal or something. Fuck, dude. I really thought it was gonna be an animal or something. But no, what I was gonna touch on is like, I wonder in situations like this. No, it wasn't a Freudian slip. I legitimately thought that it was gonna be an animal or something. That's how I was like, that's great. But yo, it happened. What is up, Nano Sag? How are you doing? No, what I was gonna say is like, I think, I guess I get why they animated them in the river when they're supposed to be cleaning off with full clothes on. Not that I don't mind that. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind the censorship. It's just weird seeing them with like full gear on in like, I don't know, in the river, you know, supposed to be like cooling off or, you know, whatever. Just okay, interesting choice. But what I was originally going to get to is if you have a whole, I guess, empire type thing that's going against you, are you even sure that like hooking up or even having kids is a like you're even allowed to do so? Like, you know, like I don't know how else to put it. Like, and I'm using like a lot, but what I mean is specifically when it comes to like, there we go again. Euthanizing, not euthanizing, sterilizing. There we go. Sterilizing populations that you want to go ahead and control, i.e., the 86ers, right? Shoot, is everyone entitled to family? First off, do you even like your family? Let's throw that out there. Entitlement is a big word, you know? But that's also a little, I don't know, different or weird because it could be a proxy war for all we know, i.e., everything's created just in the sense of gathering morale troops, gathering war funds, which is critical in any nation that's going through anything. Ooh, the big bads are attacking. We need all the money and all the support so we can go to war. What if, like, the no, what I'm saying is like, you know, just because you were born does not entitle you to your family. Or just because, you know, you have a family doesn't mean that they're your family. I.e., some people really have strong disagreements with their own family. And you can, here's what I always say, it's like blood does not determine blood, like, you know the saying like blood is thicker than water. I completely disagree with that because of the lines of communication that you do have open are up to you. So if you decide that your best friend is a brother to you and you want that in your life, you get to go ahead and make that decision with that other person. You know, some family members can be absolutely fantastic, i.e., grow up in a really secure environment with the mom, dad, mothers, fathers, whatever, you know. But in other environments, Your family can be absolutely manipulative, toxic, create more drama than is needed, try to force you to believe certain things that you don't want to, so on and so forth. But at least you're able to go ahead and, like, you know, I guess, push yourself off from them and create what I'd say your own family. What you believe in that. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, masters. Yeah, I was about to say, like, you get to create your own family, not that, like, uh because you're in whatever, it's not yours.
それよ、今度シンが繋いできそうなとこでそれ言わせるのよ。どんな反応するか見ものだわ。クレナがね、シンはダメよ。あの死神ったらきっと顔色も変えないわよ。可愛くない？私、そんなこと言ってないもん。ちょっとやめてよ。クレナって可愛い。
So let me guess. We're either going to get a really sad part where this girl ends up dying before she's able to confess, or she's able to tell him as she, like, passes away, or he rejects her feelings because, I don't know, he actually feels something for people in power, i.e. the white-haired individual, right? Or you can go 101 ways, but I don't. I'm sorry. I have a bad feeling about this. I have a bad feeling just about this. Like, for some reason, for example, the main dude, the Undertaker, coming back for WrestleMania with that 23-0 score, I feel as though, like, yeah, it's because you guys have desensitized me a little too much. But I feel like he might, I don't know how to put it, like, he might be one of those individuals that is capable of, like, doing everything he can if it buys off time, if it helps others, if he's there for, the mission or the purpose, or, trying to find out where he is, who he is, so on and so forth,
気を使ってやることないんだから。シン、あんなのとっとと壊しちゃえばいいのに。
シンだって別に好きで壊してるわけじゃねえだろ。っていうかね、お前それシンに言える？
Guys, here's a silly question. Do we know what happened to all of their family members? Did they all, like, pass away already? Or we, like... Sorry if I'm a little quiet, but, like... Did they, like, what happened to, like, all of their family members in one aspect or another? Like, that's sort of what I'm thinking is, like... It's... i.e., for example, what motivates you to do something? Why are you out here? Aside from being forced, right? But even being forced to do something, you tend to find motivation for, like, an inspiring event or something. But even, like, even if you're sent, like, for example, if you're sent to do chores, if you don't want to do it, it'll be obvious, right? However, if you find motivation or the good in things, or you're able to, like, go ahead and, like, set yourself off. That sounds horrible. Be able to carry that internal explosion of energy to be able to go ahead and continue forward. What gets you there? I.e., I wonder if I can do this quicker. I.e., I wonder if I can go ahead and, like, yeet this trash bag 50 yards. Something stupid like that. So what I'm wondering throughout this entire thing is, like, parents, for example. You would think that parents would automatically try and be the first ones in the front line of a war instead of their children, right? And then if there are older siblings, you'd expect that as well. So then, with all of these young individuals that are here, what I'm wondering is, what specifically entitles them to even stay motivated? Is it sort of like the dream that there might be, I don't know, out there in another squad, POWs? What are we talking about here? And that's exactly where my mind is at the moment. I am getting a little plastered, but that's fine.
気に食わないからシンのそれで壊してくれってあいつに言える？
ごめん。でもやっぱり許せない。
Oof,
あいつら白
it's
豚
getting
は
hard.
パパとママを殺した。
Oh, there we go.
みたい
Wow.
に射的の的にした。
Wow.
白豚はみんなクズよ。
Guys, I'm not a fucking wizard. That was all accidental. These are thoughts that I have. Fuck, dude. What happened to their parents? My mother and father were shot and killed. Well, shit, dude. I didn't mean to. Dude. Oh, dude, what the fuck? I did not. Yeah. All right. Let me drink some more. This might open up my this might open up my inner gates, I guess. Yeah, that's it. It was answered right there.
絶対に許さない。
の夜はさ、そんな中、青白い光が音もなく、後から流れて空を埋め尽くす。あの時、妙なことを口走ったのは、俺の一生の汚点だ。
なんて言ったんだよ、キザ野郎。
言うかよ、バカ。
最後に見るのがこれなら悪くねえかもな。
Damn, dude. Way to go exposing someone. Shit.
まったく。こいつそれ聞いて鼻で笑ったんだぜ。
もうあんなのは見れないだろう
Fuck.
な。
Get roasted in front of everyone.
そちらでは見られなかったのか？一晩中街の明かりが消えないので、こちらでは星なんてほとんど見えないね。
This is a sign, y'all. If you're a flat earther, I'll let you guys know 86 does not believe in the flat earth theory. Just throwing that out there. Look at that clear as day poster. It's all around the earth. Clear sign for all of y'all. They follow science even in areas where there might be extreme, I guess, racism and segregation like this.
はあ、そういえば分かってはいるんだ。だからあればというだけで恨んだりしない。そうだったのですか。ではその方々には感謝しないといけませんね。ハンドラー1、あなたに少し興味が湧いてきた。本当ですか？
It's very mature of someone to say in power like that, in a position where you're like, I don't know, like you're kind of disposable, bruh. And you know, even say that there's a big resolution. There's a big moment of like, we get to an anime point in the anime where for some reason all like there's no more discrimination or 86ers, you know, now they're seen as people. Y'all know that shit's not gonna go back to normal in a good while, right? I.e., it's gonna take many years, like many years, for a lot of like people to even start assimilating what it might be normal and not normal in terms of reactions and whatnot. So, for example, you know, it's been around like 60 something years since a big portion of the civil rights movement in the US, right? And there's still, you know, not to get too political or anything in that sense, but there's still a lot of like, you know, big portions of like racism that can be felt in certain areas throughout the country. You know, you can, and I'm not saying this like, you know, oh, pick out a specific area. Oh, he's trying to preach to us. No, but what I'm saying is like, you know, for example, in that regard, you have to remember that it was like, you know, essentially if you were non-white, you were going to get like a big portion of the like hate and whatnot. And even in the 70s and 80s and even in the early 2000s, you had like a big push for the like LGBTQ community. And still nowadays, you know, even though there's still is a lot more of a appreciation, a lot more normality when it comes to like trying to bring people in and being accepting, there are still a lot of areas where hatred, like, you know, instead of an empathetic nature, is present, where people will judge you based off of that immediate factor and not the factor of the content of your character and who you are as an individual. So it is, you know, even if things were to like randomly one day go back to normal, there's still a lot of internal work that would need to be done inside of like the empire, kingdom, whatever it is, republic type of thing. Because yeah, they fucked up good. Best way for me to put it. Anyway, sorry guys. Aw.
見えてないと。パラレード、アクティベート、同調。
I like how I wonder what's different. What's specifically different about her frame of thinking? Because considering that everyone else is pretty much indoctrinated into this way of thinking, in which, like, you know, they're only viewing them as like non-living things, or that separation, right? In theater, we use this thing called, like, you know, it's Brechtian approaches. So, for example, if you ever do a play or ever do anything, what you'll notice is, like, especially in a Brechtian theater, like, the actors might be doing a scene and they'll step out to remind you that, hey, you're watching a play. We're not the characters, you know. And they'll consistently do that because of, like, you know, sort of the messaging of it, right? So it's a very Brechtian approach to put up a wall and be able to approach things differently. So what I'm wondering is, like, you know, and to even do that instead of an environment where you're indoctrinated, yeah. How was she able, especially when she, like, you know, when you're able to go through a big camp like that, when you're able to, like, be in the military for so long, go into a position of power, because usually, and this is where I'm putting it out there, people that end up in positions of power are usually the ones that will more than likely follow through with the orders, you know. So if you're talking about, like, someone in the high-ranking positions and they've heard the rhetoric, they've gone through everything, and it's like, what specifically changed that allowed them to start empathizing in that regard? Was it the just receiving the information that they might actually be human beings? Or in that regard, are they even human beings in that set of mind because of the way that they were approached to the education setting? Or did something different change, you know? And yeah, especially if it only happened a couple of years ago. It's huge. It's important to go ahead and bring that up.
申し訳ないのですが、もう少しお待ちいただければと。
Oh,
猫ですか？
ああ、大社で飼ってんすよ。ちなみに拾ったのは俺っす。ここに配属されたばっかの頃に戦車砲を食らって吹っ飛んだ家の前でミーミー泣いてて。
from the veterans in my family that have been in positions of power, they did not like it, but they still had to follow through with the orders, otherwise they would be dishonorably discharged. You know? And that's one of the big things that, like, it's not just them. My brother works with the helping veterans get their, like, I don't know, disabilities, housing, whatnot. And a majority of them, yeah, they might regret taking certain actions or doing certain things. But during that moment in time, even if you question morality, you also have to remember there's social stigma, there's social pressure, there's the pressure that you have to take as to whether or not, like, you know, if you don't take a certain action, it's going to affect your livelihood back home and for your family and for 1,001 things. There's always, like, 101 things that is probably going on, and there's a lot of pressure. And that's why, like, no one, unless you've been in a situation of war or so on, would be able to put themselves in their shoes, you know. And personally, I'm a big advocate for of any country, like, veterans getting, like, you know, the healthcare that they need, getting the housing that they need, especially because there's a big how do I put it, like, a big push, a big relapse into sort of substance abuse after a big war or after a big event. So yeah.
そっちはダメです。キレシビリテ出現ここに動けない。あ、やだ。
I know you guys can't hear it right now. This is the first time I've actually, like, fully stayed for the ending, I guess, or paid attention. Like, oh, dude. I'm gonna need another shot. This guy's going on a fucking rant. Hey, he just asked what I was gonna say. Fuck, dude. Oof. Oof. That's the best way I can put it. But hey, you know what? That's one of the odd things that I was thinking. It's like, it was a joke. Damn, AZ. You get in there. Like, yeah. Like, oh no. That's rough, dude. That's rough beyond belief. But one of the biggest things is, why do you think it's important to not know a person's name in combat? In general. Like, say that you were given a bunch of, like, say you were playing chess, but they all had individual names. Would you go by pawn, knight, queen, king, rook? Or would you actually say all of their names? Yeah, exactly. It is to not get attached. One of the biggest things, one of the biggest reasons is called empathetic attachment. And it's sort of the basis for propinquity and for a lot of like the other standards of like general attachment. So like, you know, i.e., I guess this is kind of like super seducer mode where you can use some knowledge like this. In case you're ever at a bar or something, right, and you're having good communication with someone, first time meeting them, and they tell you their name, I'll tell you what. If you do this, and I'll preface this by saying, you do it nice, you do it smoothly. If you do it in a way that is not creepy, if you do it in a way that's controlled, elegant, smooth is a good word. I think smooth is a good word. If you do it smooth, right, where you're talking and like, let's say it's Dark Thug, right, and I'm like, oh, we're talking and everything, and all of a sudden I'm like, mimicking nonverbals, talking about exciting topics, keeping things in a positive light. They'd be like, oh yeah, so Dark Thug, what do you think about this? What you guys might not know is that instant connection of saying someone's name and then like, casually by asking an actual question and continuing something. Don't say it so often, but just saying it like every once in a while. It's quite literally causing that attachment, that propinquity attachment. And that's often why you're able to connect with individuals or form that emotional attachment with individuals that you don't know really quickly, you know? Um, and that's also the reason why in some games like XCOM and some of the other ones where you get to name your soldiers or, so on and so forth, it hurts when you lose them, when you've been spending hours building them up and they just don't fucking last. It hurts, And like dollar store, what that would say to me is, I wonder if how your support network looks like at the moment. Like it can be hard calling people by their names, in general, but it can be like really tough as well because if you're trying to connect with people, or you're trying to have like big emotional things, like it can be a little difficult. Also, how do you feel? Do you feel like if people use your name, they're not your friend? 'Cause that's also another big a shift per se, right? Like some people go by their nicknames, not really by their names. So really important to distinguish that. For example, a lot of you guys call me Ed. You guys don't really call me my first or my middle names, so I'm glad with that. That's totally fine. That's a plus. But like for example, if someone says my full name, instantly I'm like, oh, fight or flight, fucking panic mode. Like my dad called me bastards. Emotional damage. Yeah, it's about like what you identify with and what that means for you. For example, like what does Dark Thug mean for you? Is this a name that you created when you were 13 playing Call of Duty? Or is this like, was it like, oh, this is a cool sounding name. Let me go ahead and like create something. You see, but it's a good thing you don't know my middle names or my last name, so safe. Safe. And I like to keep it that way. Let's keep it that way, yeah. Yeah, use a shortened name too. Yeah, exactly. It helps a lot. It helps a lot to go ahead and maintain that. But anyway, I think this episode overall was quite entertaining, as you guys can tell. There's a lot of good um aspects of this show. Just overall in its delivery. There can be a lot of plot holes that you can pick at. Don't get me wrong. You can always pick on certain things. With anything, I guess in general. You can pick on some plot holes in ReZero and some of the other shows, i.e. through like a realistic lens or any other lens, right? But if we're going off of the narrative that it's driving, right, just off of the narrative, um, but yeah, what I was getting at is this episode has been really strong, really eventful. Overall, a strong. Yeah, I doxed myself. Ooh. Um, a really, really strong opportunity for people to evolve, and seeing sort of the evolution of the characters and what death means. Um, the ending, especially that big rant where she got ratioed, I was sort of thinking the same thing. It's, just in regards to attachment, it's like you chat with these people, you're chatting with these people quite gleefully, but I haven't heard you been like, hey, what is your name? And that's another movie that we should probably watch, right? But anyway, I hope you guys on YouTube have a fantastic day. It's probably not going to be as long. It'll probably be edited down for y'all. But I hope you guys appreciate it. Have a fantastic night. Practice some self-care. Be yourself. Don't spoil anything. Don't be spoilers. And yeah,